Hey all you YouTube and Livestrong members.
Hey, Lance.
It's Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, I know who you are.
What are you doing?
I'm recording a video.
I want to tell you about a new website. It's called livestrong.com.
No, I'm okay here. Thanks, though. It's cobbles season. Dwars Flandern took place this past weekend, and the women's race was won by Giant Shimano's Amy Peters. The Het Niesblot champ won the race by, well, let's see here. No write-up here. Maybe if I go over to Cycling News, they'll have something. Nope. I do have this lovely picture of Clara. Okay, I'm gonna try Google. BikeWorldNews.com has a write-up, as does Pez. Well, that doesn't make any sense. Okay, it's a press release. Well, anyway, it sounds like Giant Shimano put a rider in an early move of 4 and then bridged Peters across, using their numerical advantage to set her up for the win. All the while daring the rest of the group to bring everything back together to test Kirsten Wild in a field sprint. Using her as a Wild card, you might say. Still, the lack of any reporting on the women's race is a little disturbing. I mean, bicycling put at least 3 dudes on the ground in Waregem and still didn't have anything about it. Of course, they also ran direct-sold AndroGel ads, yes, that AndroGel, in their fitness section, so... Seriously though, everything starts with race coverage. As much as the races themselves become secondary stories, you still need that tightly packaged little narrative as a foundation for all the gooey drama and delicious translingual jokes that everybody likes to talk about. The second round of the Women's World Cup takes place this Sunday at the Trofea Binda, and I'm hoping to be able to catch it live. Still not sure which country I'm going to have to pretend to be from, and I'm hoping to see that the UCI bumps up the production value of their post-race recap just a little bit. Speaking of production value, I got an email this week with specific instructions on how to properly pronounce the Dwars men's winner's name. So it was Omega Pharma's Nicky Terpstra who took the solo win. Sounds like he too bridged to an early move, but didn't stick around to chat once he got there. Of course, I didn't get to watch the race myself because, day job, but from what I could see on Twitter, what really caught people's eyes were Valverde's ability to ride on the cobbles and everyone else's inclination to avoid them entirely. In Spain, the Volta a Catalunya is underway, but Sky's Bradley Wiggins isn't participating, instead preferring to prepare for Roubaix. Not like all the other dudes preparing for Roubaix by doing actual cobbled races like Dwars or today's E3, but instead through something Sky representatives refer to as a block of training. Personally, I can't help but feel like we're being set up for another storyline of intra-Team Sky drama. Froome, robbed of his supposed mountain domestique, has suffered thus far, losing time on mountain stages won by Katusha's Joaquim Rodriguez and BMC's TJ Van Garderen. With no TTs or mountaintop finishes remaining, Froome sits a shameful 6th in the standings, 17 seconds down on the leader. Those of you wondering why there's an allegedly top-tier mountainous stage race taking place in Spain while everyone else is otherwise focused on Belgium might have been expecting some answers to come out of the new UCI race schedule. But if you were, you also probably haven't been following the sport for very long. As we learned from last week's episode, no good can come from a cycling governing body if the explanation requires arrows. And the UCI's missive explaining its new plans, unsubtly titled Reform, had more than its fair share. Assessing the document as a whole, confusion reigns. Selection processes for teams and events remains opaque. Riders and teams' UCI points are still massively overweighted. They've instigated a relegation and promotion system for a sport with no permanent franchises. But in the spirit of positivity, I will say that it looks like they're at least trying to reduce the number of top-tier racing days. I think.
Send us your video showing us how you dared to change your life or somebody else's life.
Oh, right. You. I finally managed to make my way through Juliet McCore's cycle of lies. While it was cool to be able to purchase cycling content that didn't also require me to buy a tangentially related service from a parent company, or to buy every successive Lance Armstrong book that came out for the next 3 months, I have to say that on the whole, I was pretty disappointed. Not because it's bad, mind you. In fact, many sections of Makor's tome are fantastic. Carefully researched, spot on in terms of contextualizing doping within the sport, and filled out with compelling, thoughtful details. But other parts of it, a good 40%, are awful. An extended passage detailing the idiosyncratic rebelliousness of Floyd Landis is followed up by a statement saying Floyd replaced other riders on the team because he did what he was told. The use of Sikut wanders in and out of quoted passages as if it didn't have any meaning at all. And Chris Carmichael, after a 100-page absence, is characterized, with no additional explanation, as having turned his back on Lance Armstrong. I mean, the list of unthoughtfully constructed passages just goes on. This isn't really the forum to complain about book doping, or packaging, as it's euphemized. But this could have been a clear, concise, classic, memorable read. When the best cycling beat writer at the best paper in the world still has to outsource 150 pages of material, I kind of wonder if the economics of the publishing industry are really capable of producing anything worthwhile out of this sport. I'm Cosmo Catalano, and that was The Week in Bike.